this should not be a game that we're going into going, oh no, it's Nottingham Forest, it shouldn't be that. Hello everybody, my name's Conor McGilligan, and this is a video that might interest you. Please make sure you stick around till the end, everybody. Really appreciate your constant support. And today we're going to be speaking about a Leeds United player who's out on loan who could make a massive impact in this squad right now. And I'm going to tell you guys why I think this would be a really good sort of player to bring back into this side. Now, we are going to be back with the press conference reaction, of course. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below when it comes to that and all the news coming up this weekend. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure you check out the Patreon. We've got an episode with Oscar Marriott coming out very, very soon. Let's get into it, shall we? So, believe it or not, it's not Matteo Joseph. I know a lot of you guys are thinking, Conor, it's got to be Matteo Joseph with you. It is not. The player that I wanted to talk about today was Largie Ramazani. Now, Leeds United, if we're looking at the logistical and obvious standpoint when it comes to this football club, we're really missing the element of pace, the element of unpredictability, the vertical running that can win you free kicks, that can aid that second ball when it comes to maybe the knockdown of someone like Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We're missing that person who's a little bit of a maverick in his play, and that is Largie Ramazani, in my opinion. Leeds United could save themselves millions and millions of pounds in the January window by doing that thing that the Athletic have said that we can do, by bringing back the 24-year-old. Now, is he going to acclimatise absolutely perfectly into this Leeds United side? Well, he knows a lot of the players. He knows the likes of Willian Yonto. He knows the likes of Dan James. He knows Jayden Bogle. He doesn't know Goodmanson yet, but what a partnership potentially that could be if maybe Noah Okafor's not available. But Largie Ramazani gives you that option. He gives you that availability as well. And I think that's really, really key here. Now, the obvious stumbling block is Daniel Farke in terms of him not wanting... There was evidently a conversation at the very beginning of the season of whether or not Largie is going to get the right minutes that Largie probably wants himself. There was then a no. Leeds went out, bought Noah Okafor. I liked that at the time. I didn't really see that much of a difference between Okafor and Ramazani. I still don't think in terms of dribbling ability there's that much difference, but I really like Noah Okafor, and you can see the physical profile, the athletic profile of which Leeds United have brought in the summer to really aid us in the Premier League. And he's our best technical player in that forward line, in my opinion. He hits the byline, he can go either way, but we've also got another player in Spain currently who can do the same things in terms of that 1v1 approach, of which we're missing kind of on the other side as well. Now, we know Ramazani can be on the left. We know we can play on the right as well. We know there's depth there when it comes to potentially him and Nonto. I would also say that Ramazani, in terms of the reason we bought him for around about 8 rising to 10 million was so that he was a Premier League player for Leeds United as well. I would also say that on a technical level, he's a better footballer than Dan James, which I think will equip him better in tight situations in the Premier League. So my case for Largie Ramazani is there. Now, is there an option for Leeds to bring him back? There is, according to The Athletic. Here on One Leeds, we suggested in the window that there was no availability for him to come back. Apparently there was no recall clause. Valencia had put that in the agreement with Leeds United. However, there is one stipulation of which Leeds might be leaning on. It might be the fact that he's only played 85 minutes in around about 5 or 6 games. Now, he came in towards the back end, didn't he? Valencia had completed the pre-season. They'd also had plenty of games as well in there. Ramazani wasn't acclimatised to a very methodical, meticulous Carlos Corberán system. Now, Corberán as well, who's already been on the back of a 4-0 battering by Real Madrid. Valencia is struggling this season, and when you look at Carlos Corberán and how meticulous he is with his players, there is a conversation that we're having again of maybe Daniel Farke and Carlos Corberán, completely different styles of play, but does Largie Ramazani do the thing that these gaffers actually want them to do as a wide player? Now, you would expect, with how meticulous Carlos Corberán is, for him to understand that before buying Largie Ramazani. So I don't think it's a level of ability and a level of willingness and a level of playing style when it comes to Largie Ramazani. Maybe it is just the fundamentals of him not quite being at where Carlos Corberán wants him in a specific system. This is Carlos Corberán, who's been so meticulous and so sort of strategy-ridden at Huddersfield, at West Brom, at English clubs, and obviously he's been within the remit of Marcelo Bielsa. So I've sort of noted down a couple of bits of which maybe is the reason that he's not getting down and working with Corberán's side. Maybe it feels like at least Valencia this season, when you read around, it's a bit of a slower positional play, which is methodical building through the defensive and the midfield lines, of which doesn't really throw Largie Ramazani into the picture when you think about it. When you think about that methodical build-up, that sort of slow build-up, which is quite similar, isn't it? You don't really see Largie Ramazani throwing himself into life and being able to really explode onto the scene, because that's not the type of sort of positional and build-up that Corberan is wanting this year for Valencia, which is interesting when it comes to the recruitment side of bringing Ramazani in, because that's what he is, explosive. Corberan, clearly, when you're looking at those defensive wingers, when you're looking at the onus on possession-based sides as well, the side that, you know, Corberan is looking at, there's less risk, and it's all about keeping hold of the ball. It's all about, you know, connecting to that 8 and that number 10, and then being able to be that maverick in the side, of which that's not what Ramazani is. The wingers are being asked to do completely different things, and they have to be extremely good in tight spaces, which I think Ramazani is. But I feel like Valencia have maybe missed the boat on Largie in terms of the timing and availability when it comes to the pre-season, and being able to really put him into their system. This is a player who is a transitional winger, an explosive, a quick, a pacey winger who fits a certain mould of playing, maybe a certain mould of coming off the bench. That's what he is. He's not positional play, it's not systematic, it's not methodical, it's not slow. And this is what the Corberan system, this is kind of what it feels like the Farke system this year has been wedded to. So we're now looking at a 4-3-3 with Daniel Farke, which massively, I think, could aid someone like Largie Ramazani. His defensive numbers weren't as bad as people were making out last season, and Leeds have the option to bring him back in January. For me, this fills the gap. For me, Leeds need wingers. You know, you have to go out and get another one. Of course, I think Leeds need to get a right-sided winger. I don't think we're going to get a centre-forward or a 10, but I think a right-sider is important. But you bring back more depth, use him as that vertical impact off the bench, use him as that transitional impact off the bench in general, and maybe even in some games you start him. But Largie Ramazani at 24 years old, for me, is absolutely ready to be given a chance. And I think he has that now with what's going on with apparently we don't have the same with Joseph, which is fine. You kind of want to see Joseph, he's a little bit younger, go out there, he's doing okay at this moment in time. But with Largie, it feels like you get him back, you're able to actually get him within this side, and Leeds could really see the benefits of him. And that's kind of where I'm at right now with Largie. So we'll have to wait and see. Forest also played last night, everybody. Forest got a 0-0 draw at Sturm Graz. Dyche has said as well, when talking to Nottinghamshire Live, that he had denied that selection had an eye on the weekend's game at Leeds. He said it's not rotating for the sake of it, it's because we had to. You look at the injuries, Elliott was a precaution, Elliott Anderson, but he's got knocks he's been carrying, so wanted to give him a chance to ease them. We want to win against Leeds, obviously, but then hopefully the international break just gives players to settle down when it comes to that injury record. We know there's a lot of Forest players who are out. There's apparently around about, 10 or 11 of them going to be out for this. But let's bear in mind, everybody, this Nottingham Forest side have won 2 games in 15. They've won 1 game in 4. This should not be a game that we're going into, oh no, it's Nottingham Forest. It shouldn't be that. We should be targeting that. This is a win. I'm sick of seeing this white flag. It needs to be solution-based. We need to think about what Leeds can do. We're not doing right now what we can do that's going to be a difference maker, as we've spoken about in this video when it comes to January, and affordable things of which is going to aid Leeds United in terms of these transitional moments, but also bringing players in. Leeds United have to do this. We have to move, but there has to be solution-based scenarios right now. The solution for me is Leeds United's style of play different. We've done a video which I'll link here or here on Dominic Calvert-Lewin's movement and how to get the best out of him. What I would say as well, guys, when I'm just reverting back to that Dominic Calvert-Lewin video, is there was a lot of people saying he has James Rodriguez there. That was the whole point of the video. It's not to say that James Rodriguez got 4 assists that season, but the point of the video was he was making 8 long ball attempts per game. Dominic Calvert-Lewin was having 4 to 5 touches in the opposition box per game, and that was aided by a winger consistently trying to find his feet with these long balls. Okay, it's not just a goalkeeper, not just a centre-back trying to find Dominic Calvert-Lewin, it's getting the ball quickly into him and playing off him. James Rodriguez was absolutely pivotal in that. James was a brilliant player. We're not going to get anybody near his quality. However, it's the actual objective of what James Rodriguez is trying to do. That was the overarching point. That is the style of play I'd like to see Leeds do in and around Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We can get the wingers involved. Maybe even get Ramazani involved if he was to come back. No, Okafor involved a little bit more playing off him. The style of play needs to change for this one. Leeds United need to go to a certain pragmatic way of playing up against Nottingham Forest. There's opportunities for us here as well, people. Our midfield can compete with their midfield at this moment in time, which is fractured. Leeds United have a real opportunity this weekend. Not to get 1 point, but to get 3 points as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on Ramazani and everything we've spoken about, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. I'm Conor McGilligan. This is One Leeds, and we'll see you for the press conference reaction. Cheers.